Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling World Talks with Dan and Mac.
Oh boy, it's almost like I feel like we're in a sense of deja vu at this point.
Hey, I wonder why.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are, folks. I am listening. You are listening to PWW Talks here on Spotify, or watch us on Spotify, or YouTube, or Audacity, wherever you catch your favorite podcasts these days. Apple, of course. The reason I say that is because we were. Production issues sometimes just seem to happen when you're doing this. When you're doing content creation, you think everything went smooth, swimmingly, and then all of a sudden you go to edit and you're just like, there was a problem. So I didn't realize this until a few days later when I was actually ready to post everything. And it was just like, well, we got to come back. So we got to go back so that way we can make sure that people are just, and especially too, because it's like, we're at the point of, it's December 21st on day of recording, so it's 4 days before Christmas. Everybody's trying to get some last minute stuff done, including myself. I'll have to be doing some last minute stuff today. And my co-host, Mac, of course, my best friend of over 20 years, and my, I guess you could say, hetero life mates in this wrestling journey for the last 20 of it as well. So both of us are kind of just like in the midst of the holiday chaos, being like, oh, we have a show to do. Crap. Oh, and we have to talk about John Cena again. Crap. And this is hopefully
it's karma.
The last time.
It's karma.
Yes, it is. It's
really
literal
is.
Karma. He came back and bit us on the ass one last time. And there's nothing else I could say to just, it's more fitting. It was so fitting beyond belief when it was just like, I'm like, of course we have technical issues when we have to talk about the John Cena retirement, because this asshole just wants nothing more to see if he has to come back and run it back, so to speak, in the midst of the holiday season. So thanks, Sean. I appreciate it.
I don't, John. Just letting you know that now. I do not appreciate it. I just don't.
It's funny, especially too in this household, because it's just, I've already been off this week anyways, like just mentally, because at my office, we were forced out due to a water main break. Not only was it a water main break, just a simple water main break. No, this is a water main break to a brand new building that is in the midst of phase 2 of its construction process. There's already kind of a lightning rod of controversy in the town that I live in. So, yeah. I mean, so to add that into the mix on top of the impending holiday, yeah. And then technical issues. So it's just like, can we get any more else to get thrown on that, I guess? I really don't want to ask that for real. I really don't at this point.
Yeah, please don't.
No. But at the same time, it's just like life just seems to throw you a bunch of curveballs all at once. And it just seems, but not so bad. It's just minor inconveniences that get let up where you're just like, you really, and this has just been minor inconveniences, so to speak. Because this, again, doing this content creation stuff, it is anything that has to do with the show. It is considered, in my opinion, a minor inconvenience, only because of the fact it's not, nobody's life is on the line here. It's not like we're talking about, this is a life and death matter. It is a matter of, am I going to hear the review for Saturday night's main event or not? Yes, exactly.
It could always be worse.
It could be a lot worse. But the good news is, too, from doing this is because now, usually when I do this show, I am I am close to or somewhat within the approximation of my bedtime. And so it's usually by the tail end of it, you can tell it's just like, yeah, maybe not as sharp as he'd like to be. And this morning, because we're doing this in the early morning, not in the early morning, but somewhat
Mid-morning,
approaching almost the late morning, I at least have a little bit more juice, so to speak, to kind of just be able to come off a little bit more coherent and maybe also have a stringing point. So this might be one of the more coherent episodes. So it's almost like a blessing in disguise because I have to be able, because now we're trying to do things in more short form. If you've been noticing on our social medias, we're trying to now do what the kids call reels and short form media. So that way more people and eyes will get onto the product. So I am trying to come up with and surmise something later on, a good segment to kind of be able to chop, to be able to put it out and push it out to, of course, our other social medias. I'm assuming is also, but that'll be our big discussion, more about me talking to the fan base and also trying to console them in the hardest of times that they're going through. They're going through hard times, Daddy, as Dusty Rhodes would say. So I guess we can start with since last night, while we were recording this on Sunday again, the 21st, there was a AAA show, and I guess the early rumor is that Dominic Mysterio may have suffered a shoulder injury, taking a suplex from his dad at the AAA show. So if that is now almost like the final shot, so to speak, into the WWE kind of roster, so to speak, and I am being visited now and invaded by Daria. Daria has invaded the show and is saying hello to everyone. Yes, she is a bitch. Yes, she is. She is.
Bitch.
She has arrived to the program almost like a puppet right
She
now.
looks pissed too, by the way.
Yeah, she does. She's not happy about it. Hi, Steph. Welcome to the program. Meh.
Meh.
She's in her Meh Garfield shirt.
Meh.
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 And Daria has taken her spot now. Just curled up next to me in the.
Well, that's what she's been wanting.
Yeah, she's apparently that's what she's been wanting. Yes,
Bitch.
the whole time. Yes, Daria the bitch. Yes.
My old lady baby.
Okay, old lady baby.
Old
Yes.
lady baby. So you can hang out with Daddy. Bye.
Yes. Bye. She's just gonna pick at the door. Want to get out in the next 2 minutes. I have a show to do.
Bitch.
No. How dare. That's you saying that. That's not me.
I'm talking about
Let's
Daria
put that
still.
out there.
I'm talking about Daria.
Oh,
still,
right. He was talking about Daria. All right. So, that could be an impending storyline that we could be hearing about this week. They've already shot TV for this week. I believe that they've already recorded for Monday, for this coming Monday, and I think next
it's
Friday.
all week.
Yeah,
I think they recorded NXT as well.
Yeah, everything I think is in the can, so to speak. And then I think they'll run it back together the following week, of course, for New Year's week, which hopefully that Netflix episode will be better than what we have been kind of getting lately, as far as Raw is concerned.
Stinks.
Weekly TV has just been like,
It's a sloth to get to at this point.
it's a chore. It's
It is.
become a chore.
Yeah.
And the chore that really kind of broke the camel's back last week, and when we previewed this thing, we said this show could be a sleeper hit. And the very first match pissed us both off right off the gate. It's like immediately out of the gate, I'm already pissed. So this night can only get worse. And I mean, the match of the night did happen second. So it's like, okay, that was a high point. The tag team match was really good too. And then the main event, I already kind of knew it was going to happen, but at the same, not the finish, but it's just, if you've an educated wrestling fan and read between the lines, you knew the outcome. You didn't know how it was going to be the outcome, but you knew the outcome. So I guess we could start with how we both got pissed at the beginning of the night, which was supposed to be, again, an exhibition match between the WWE champion, Cody Rhodes, versus the NXT champion, Obafemi. So it should have been just a simple exhibition match where really no storylines were really advanced or anything. But no, they couldn't help themselves. Instead of giving us a 15 to 20 minute, who's the better man, maybe raising the bar a little bit over Femi, even though he's good enough that he was able to raise his bar anyways for the short time that he was given, it was still not what I wanted. It was still not what Mac wanted. It was still what the majority of the audience didn't want either. They wanted an outcome. The fact is that he got a pretty positive reception in front of a mainstream wrestling crowd. A crowd that is paying a lot of money to be there, but know who this guy is. And he got a pretty positive reaction. Cody Rhodes, of course, still got a pretty positive reaction. I'd say, we've entered a territory where there is never going to be a universal, beloved world champion. It's just never going to happen again.
Well, he had a good promo on Friday, I heard. So.
He had a great promo. But it's everywhere you go, every time, there's still going to be that smattering of boos. I wouldn't say it was noticeable, but it was like super noticeable, but it was still noticeable of like a drone. And I don't know if that's because people are getting tired of him or it's because personally I don't put any real blame on Cody Rhodes, so to speak, as far as his promo work and as far as his in-ring work. The WWE this year just has not booked him to any real.
Last 2 years, really.
They haven't done him any favors since WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really haven't.
Listen. Here's the thing about this match, though. Like, it's a good match.
It is
until you get to the end.
Yes. And it's just got to be this bullshit finish with a guy. It's like, are we doing Drew Cody again? I thought this was 6 months ago. What are we doing here?
You could have built this so much sooner and so much better by leaning into the history of the two of them, and they tossed the history aside and built their own shit. And it's had its moments, but I would argue it's not been good. It's not. No. Are some of the segments good? Yeah, no, not for nothing. Sure, absolutely. But I didn't need this when you're trying to really showcase the younger and rising talent, which in this case is Obafemi, and you throw in Drew McIntyre? Like, come on.
It is unnecessary to advance storylines on a show like this. It is already a night that John Cena has wanted a showcase of current talent versus the up-and-comers. That's what it was supposed to be. Not let's finish what we start every single goddamn Friday. We could have done this next week. We could have done this last week. We could have done this last night.
Yeah.
But let's do this on the PLE that John Cena was just like, yeah, I want to do this. Showcase. That's for the undercard. Sure, we'll do that. Drew, go out there and interfere. Why? It's unnecessary. Completely unnecessary because it was a good match and it just got kind of,
Got stupid.
But
there's
the end. It's like, oh, Cody raised his hands. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad, though, the next match at least brought it back. Solrook and Bailey. Great match.
No, match of the night without question. Bailey is so important to women's wrestling, it's not even funny because, again, she understood the mission here, and that was to get she brought that audience back of just like, what the fuck just happened, to, oh my God, this is amazing. And that's what you needed to do. They did the absolute most with the time they had, especially, too, Bailey. You feel bad for her because she's just been booked into oblivion as well, of just like, what am I doing? What? She hasn't even booked any PLEs this year. This
was really it. This was the PLE she was booked for.
And it wasn't even involved in any storylines. It was just like, it's going to be you and Sal Rook. All right, fine.
Okay, I guess. No, I mean, this was a perfect way to get more so Sol Rika, but all four of them, really. Her, Bailey, Zarya, and Lyra Valkyria by extension for those two being out there. But the thing I hated the most at this point was the salutes at the end.
Oh, God.
I just hated it. I hated it. I hated it for the first match, definitely, but I hated it for this the most.
It's like...
John Cena's not a Marine. If he served in the military, I'm not aware of that, but he's not a Marine.
He's not. He's not served in the military one time. Like, all he did out of high school was go play football and try to be a bodybuilder. That was it. He went from football, bodybuilder, wrestling. No, at no point was military even in there. And he's out there just like he's in the fatigues. It's like, really?
Oh, my God.
Really? Come on. I don't know. Like, I just, why no one from the military didn't call him out on that? Like on social media or something, of just like some top ranking, like military official being like, he's just pretty much, it's not stolen valor, mind you. But still at the same time, in my opinion, it came off really cringy. It just did. It always.
Do you know why it did? Because it was.
Because it was.
That's the thing. It was cringy.
It was cringe. Like Lacey Evans could have done it.
Yeah.
Right? Because she had military background. I didn't give a shit about that. There are a lot of people in that company that they could have done that with that had military background, but they didn't. They did it with John, though, for some stupid reason.
Well, he was in that movie, Dan.
I understand that. But it's like...
No, I'm kidding. I hate it. Trust me.
Hated it. Because then we'd have the friggin' dummy that... You know, I think... We'll get to that point later. We'll get to that point later on. But like I just had a thought that kind of occurred, so I'll get to that point later on.
All right.
But no, I thought this match was really good, though. Definitely the match of the night.
Well, it had tough competition with AJ and Dragon Lee against Siobhan Evans and Leon Slater. I will say that.
This was insanity. My God.
Yep. This was great.
Yes.
You know, I know they didn't get a lot of time. I feel like all three matches really didn't get a lot of time, obviously. All things considered, they got to save it for the end. But I thought this was great for what it was. It's exactly what it needed to be. It was a great, kind of, I guess, opener for Cena and Gunther. But, I don't need the salutes. I don't need it.
The frustrating part of this show was the fact that... The real frustrating part of this show was going into this, we were led to believe that they had like unlimited time by Peacock because this was going to be on NBC. So there was a part of me that was thinking, okay, they're going to let this go long. Everybody's going to have a little bit more time. Like it'll be a decent showcase. And it just felt like everybody got zero. And even Cena didn't really get that much time at the end either because he didn't even do like a speech or anything. Well, we'll get to that later. But I just felt like, again, this match, it's like, you couldn't give it another 5 minutes. Really? Just another 5 minutes?
I mean, that's how I felt about the match before, Solrook and Bailey.
Give it 10. Every match, I felt like every match should have got 5 more minutes.
Oh, easily.
Like even And well, Femi and Cody should have got like 10, 15, and also should have had like a conclusive finish instead of well, here comes Shrek. No, like this.
All right,
This
so
needed
hold
more
on.
time.
I'm going to wiki this right now as we're talking. So none of the matches got 10 minutes. Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi was 9 minutes and 10 seconds.
I remember 9 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. Silveruka and Bailey was 9 minutes and 25 seconds.
Oh my God.
AJ Lee. I'm sorry, I almost said AJ Lee. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee against Javon Evans and Leon Slater got 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
So those two, the first two matches got 15, probably got 15 with entrances. And then this match probably got like 10 with entrances.
Yep.
That's a disservice.
It says the next match, which we'll talk about in a second, was 23 minutes and 45 seconds.
I mean, you got to get that airtime in, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
apparently.
I think that's why they have the commercial these long breaks in between matches, because maybe they hate the fact that like people they don't want the popcorn or bathroom break matches to exist anymore. They want to give ample time in the arena now for people to go take care of bathroom business or go grab a drink or a popcorn without having to like skimp out on matches, which I think
it's also production, right?
Well,
so it gives them time to move the pyro around. It gives them time to clean anything that they might need to clean up around the ring and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think that's what it is. It's funny you say that, though, in context, right? Because since we are re-recording this, we actually get to talk about this very quickly. On Friday, I didn't watch wrestling this week because there was a big boxing match this week.
Oh, yes.
And I'm very happy with that outcome, first of all, by the way. But they said in moments we will get to that main event. And I forget when I started a stopwatch, but it was about 35 minutes. And it was after the match before it ended, obviously. They said moments. They said it like 3 times. So we started a stopwatch, and literally it was about 35 minutes.
They all do it.
I know they do. It was awful, though.
Like,
it's gratuitous.
Boxing does it, UFC does it, wrestling does it. It's but I used to complain a shit ton, too, about WWE because when we used to go to the tapings, and this is even before like SmackDown and Raw was a thing. So this was in the days of syndication. So you'd get the arena at 7:30, 8 o'clock. You might not leave till 2 a.m. because they're taping 6 shows in a row.
Well, I mean, we have a friend that, went to an AEW show and they did 2 shows in the Ring of Honor show. So, I mean, a lot of companies do it. I'm sure WWE did it this week since I almost said Thanksgiving, but Christmas is next week in a few days. So they're probably doing the same exact thing, not for nothing.
For my first show I ever went to in 1991, it was a summer show at the Worcester Centrum. And Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker were on the main event, but I didn't understand the term dark match yet because, again, I'm a newbie and I'm 8.
Right.
So that was the match that was like advertised on radio and TV. But Hulk Hogan was on the card earlier in the night because they were taping the SummerSlam Spectacular.
Oh, God.
Which was always a week before SummerSlam on UFC. And that was a rematch of WrestleMania 7 between Hogan and Slaughter.
Right.
So I saw Hogan wrestle twice that night, but again, at my 8 years old, I'm like, well, why did he wrestle twice? And then you find out later, oh yeah, when they advertised that's considered a dark match main event. That probably wasn't even on television. Actually, It was. The Undertaker Hulk Hogan match is actually that was the first one that they ever did. It was in Worcester, and it was taped because it's on the Hulk Hogan. I think it's Hulkamania 6 on Coliseum Video. but it was on. So it's like it's on there as like a Coliseum exclusive. I think you can find it readily available now on
Probably.
YouTube if you want to check it out.
Right.
But actually, in the intro of it, and a friend of mine told me this. I don't know if he was the one that did it or it was someone close to him. And you can actually see it on the tape. Some kid in Worcester took the Undertaker's hat.
Oh, jeez.
His entrance.
That's,
And you,
oh, man.
and apparently, like it. So my friend was close, and Taker just stared the kid down, and he just gave the hat back almost like willingly, because it was just like
oh
because
shit.
of course that was the almost like dead zombie gimmick.
Yep.
So it was just that was when he would come out, you would hear the gong. The children would all be just like shitting bricks because literally they were just all scared of him. That famous WrestleMania 7 clip where it's like all the little kids are just like mortified, like they don't know how to react to him.
Right.
Like that was the first 6 months of the Undertaker, the first year I'd say, the entire audience of young kids did not know how to react to him. Some were scared. Some thought he was cool. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah, same.
And that was again at 7 or 8 years old, which was weird. It's always funny because now I remember when I used to have my fig fed. I used to have the Undertaker come out on somebody got me the Grave Digger, like the big Grave Digger truck.
Jeez, yeah.
So I would have Taker come out in the Grave Digger. Like I was producing entrances at a young age, of course. Why not?
Right. No,
Like,
yeah.
And I was able to get like a tin coffin. So I was able to have coffin matches, and they were feuding.
God.
He was feuding with Giant Gonzalez, and Giant Gonzalez could actually fit perfectly in the coffin.
Because I'm not booked.
Let's see what else. Because now so another thing too that this is real kind of inside baseball, but people might find this so the Hasbro ring specifically. I was able to find out that if you had the Nerf table tennis set, came with 4 pieces for the net. They perfectly fit and interlocked to make a steel cage around the Hasbro ring. I don't know how it was possible, but it worked. And it's like it fit perfectly. Like, and also it was wide enough where you could have your wrestlers stand on top of it. Somehow it was just the perfect accessory that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
And and then of course my brain now thinking about it, I'm like, I should have had it spray painted blue, because it was green.
Yeah. Oh,
And so it was always off color. But it's just like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I could have just gotten blue spray paint. But, the mind wasn't really kind of thinking about it back then. Because now, like, if I was a younger kid, I probably would have a fig fed that I would probably have on, like, do a YouTube channel with. Like, just dumb stuff. Like, now, I just buy figures, but I don't take them out of the box.
Yeet!
They just sit here. But I just that thought of it now because it's all flooding back of like when we were kids with the Undertaker, because I remember the first year his figure actually came out. It was 92. It was 92 Christmas, and we were at there was a store called The Fair there was one in Spencer and then one in Millbury, Massachusetts. And I remember finding it. I found the Undertaker Hasbro, which was probably the hardest one to get at the time. This is November, December of 92. I remember going up to my mom and I'm like, it had like, I haven't been able to find this anywhere. And then finding out that my father had already found it, I would be getting it for Christmas, where it was just like, we're literally, your prayers had just been answered.
Right.
But it's just also the little things back then of just like, what do you want for Christmas? And it's just like, well, as long as I have that, I'm fine. Like, yeah. And it's just, it's just, you're going back all the way now, which next week we're probably going to be doing more of the, look into the collection.
Yeah, I was going to say, save this for next week, damn.
Yeah, save it for next week.
Yeah. You know what we can't save for next week, though, is the stupid John Cena match.
No, we can't save it for next week because the last time is now. Can't believe I just said that. So we have reached that point, the point in my life and Mac's life that we were both waiting for since John Cena really kind of became the man. Like, again, we both have said numerous times we did like his, oh, good Lord. Yeah, he does. He's the worst. Like
I could play that a million times, man.
There was no time in the last 20 years where he did anything like, and mind you, I will say, I will give him the most credit possible for his Make-A-Wish charity stuff. He's a very charitable human being. He's a nice dude. I'll give him that. He's a really nice human being. Anything that he has done, though, in the last 20 years, I could have cared less about, including this match.
So I'm going to say it too is, not my GOAT. That's the first thing I'm going to say, not my GOAT. And the other thing is, I will agree with you in posterity, number one, but number two, the reason I say it that way is because I do agree with the Make-A-Wish stuff. I do agree that he is a stand-up human being. I truthfully have not seen any of the stuff he's been in because I have no desire to do it. I don't like him as a wrestler. He ruined wrestling for me for a very long time, which ironically was his whole heel gimmick that he was going to ruin wrestling. It's like, no, John, you already did, so please stop. Don't do it again. I did not want to watch this match. I didn't even watch it live. I watched it the next day because I just couldn't do it.
I did watch it live.
I'm sorry.
I feel like it was the right opponent. There was some
100%
pushback. There was some pushback for some friends that were like, I don't think Gunther's the right guy, and I'm just. And
it's because they wanted him to win. That's part of it, right?
No, it was. Well, there was one person that is definitely the. Well, no, he did say, he didn't think Gunther should have been the guy. Of course, though, there was another person that also thought that Gunther shouldn't have been the guy. And that was probably because he was thinking, silent in the back of his head, that he wanted John Cena to win, even though he knew better that John Cena probably was going to win.
Well, to that person, I'm just going to say this.
Bitch.
I am sure, though, that last Saturday night was hard for him.
That's why I played that audio, because I had a feeling I know who you're talking about.
No, exactly. I'm sure last Saturday night was hard for him. And it's just like, why it shouldn't really... Everybody should have known the outcome. You just should have known the outcome. You should have known, and I'm sorry that you spent all the money that you did. I'm sorry that you went into this thinking that your hero was going to pull one out of his ass in the last match. I'm sorry that you feel duped. I'm sorry that WWE didn't live up to your expectations. It makes me laugh.
What expectations?
Because
that's the
thing. Never live up to their expectations. Even with Triple H's booker, They never live up to their expectations. The only company, in my honest opinion, right now that really lives up to their expectations is AEW.
Oh, please.
I hate to say that.
Please.
But in-ring is a product at least.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Maybe not booking-wise.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Maybe not booking-wise. Because at times, even though we'll talk about the Sports Illustrated stuff, because that's somewhat relevant, and the fact of, because we talk about the John Cena stuff the last year, where I have said that, and I even said, when this thing was announced, I'm like, this is going to be detrimental to their business next year because of their long-term booking. And it has nothing but been detrimental to their long-term booking. Because, and for the people that are pissy and moany, because of the fact that Gunther was the last guy and he lost his last match, Jeff Jarrett, I heard about it. I heard about it from Meltzer too.
Bubba Ray Dudley, like a lot of people, man.
Even though Bubba Ray Dudley, I thought made the absolute most sense out of everybody. Because Meltzer was making the case for him to win. Jeff Jarrett was making the case for him to win. The fans were making the case for him to win. There were people in the locker room that thought he should have won.
Sorry.
Folks, look. You have to understand that John Cena, last Saturday, that was it. Gunther was going to be at work on Monday.
Yeah.
It makes no sense for John Cena to beat Gunther and Gunther not being able to get his win back. If they wanted to do a retirement match with John Cena and put him up against somebody that, if they took the L, it wouldn't have meant anything.
Miz.
The Miz?
Should have been the Miz.
Then fine.
You would have had the nostalgia factor, and Miz doesn't need a win.
Exactly. You could have done that. But
you would have killed two birds with one stone. You do it that way, but
it would have sent everyone home happy, which is something which is a continuing narrative that the company has always wanted to try to do. That was Vince's big thing. I'm like, we're gonna send them home happy, and
not this year.
That's not this year. Maybe SummerSlam. SummerSlam was the only time I felt like that this company sent some people home happy.
I'll give you that. That's a good point.
Like SummerSlam was the only night, the only weekend that I feel like that this company was able to send people home happy, because they sure as hell didn't do that last Saturday night.
No,
they did not. There were a lot of people that spent a lot of money. There were a lot of people that wanted. Look, I'm sorry that WWE didn't give you what you all wanted. I have been a fan of this of this brand of entertainment for 35 plus years. And I could probably give you a list the size of a CVS receipt, the amount of times that this company has not lived up to my expectations.
Because I'm not booked.
And this is coming from someone that in 2006 thought an ECW relaunch by the company was actually going to be something great. This is someone that was promised at 8 years old that it was going to be Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. This is coming from someone that thought when they bought WCW that they were going to actually pull off maybe one of the greatest angles in the history of the industry. This is also someone that thought that the NWO was going to be perfect in WWE. This is also someone I can sit here all day and give you example after example after example of the company fumbling the fucking ball.
So,
including most of this year.
Yeah. So let me ask you the question then, since we already know how you feel about this, all things considered. Do you feel that they really fumbled the last match? Because we're talking obviously about all the fans that are loving Cena. A lot of them grew up with him as their Hulk Hogan. We've talked about that before. But he's not our GOAT. And I know I speak for you as well when I say that. So personally, I liked the match. I just hated the finish.
I thought Meltzer gave it 4.5 stars.
Well, whatever.
So it not well. We're going by what the barometer is. Like, that's how we're doing it. The fact is that was it one of the better matches in John Cena's retirement run? Yes, it was. He was in there against a guy that is a master technician. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good match, but also at the same time,
I just don't like the way he tapped out.
The bar. Well, yeah, but again, if you go back to Bully Ray's kind of explanation,
Listen, I get the cinematography of it. I don't disagree with that. I get it. I get the optics, the cinematography, the storytelling, but as somebody who I would argue is still kind of that purist, it's like, John, come on. Just fucking tap out. And actually, just real quick, because since we are redoing the show, basically, we had the same conversation more or less, but I then showed somebody this weekend, because they're not really a wrestling fan, they're an on and off fan. So I showed somebody on Saturday the tap out, and they just go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I go, "No." And they just go, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's how I felt too."
Here is my point of view on the finish.
Okay.
It explains, if you had to take a picture of the entire 20 years of, and just one picture of why Dan does not like John Cena. Just take a picture of that, and it will give you, that is the main fucking reason. Because it's not the first time he's done it. It's not, and I'm sure, it'll be the last time he did it. But I've seen him do shit like that on several occasions. I didn't like his loud match calling ever. I thought that was a disgrace to the sport. There were a lot of things he did, and he pretty much, I think that was a part of their whole gimmick, and why they pushed him down everybody's throat is because, they knew he was pissing off traditionalists like myself and Mac. I didn't like a lot of things, because was he a better worker than most? Yeah. Again, he's got 5 match of the year winners, so it's like, okay, he did something right.
So hold on, let's backtrack for a second when you say that, right? We talked about this when we had Evan on last week, where we look at his opponents, his role gallery, if you will, and he had worked with a lot of great talent. He did. Let's be real.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Outside of just the match calling and some of this other stuff that you're talking about, I feel like some of these other guys showed him the way, and in some cases carried him. Because I don't know if you really put him in against some of these guys that have just arguing less talent, it's noticeable.
Oh, without question.
Like, just look at it this way, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say Cody Rhodes is not talented, but like, it was very evident that at WrestleMania, John's calling the match.
It was.
At SummerSlam, it felt pretty evident that Cody was calling the match.
It was definitely Cody. It was definitely Cody at SummerSlam, which, in my opinion, was it was night and day. I mean, I felt like Cody is a much better storyteller. Where I think he looked at Cena and just said, "Look, I said, why don't you let me call this?" And Cena was just like, "Okay." And I'm sure they're also, when you're in that position, you're just like, all right, maybe I'll take a night off for once, where I really don't have to think about it. It was noticeable when he was up there against people that really couldn't, I think, carry the load, so to speak, which is why I think that he was able to hold guys down, so to speak, at a certain point. I'm not going to try to because Look, I'm not going to be the guy that makes the argument again about the Nexus because I look at the proof of the guys in that stable, they were all mid carders at best. Except you could have really done something with Wade Barrett. Even though I really wasn't a big fan of Wade Barrett's in-ring work.
It was serviceable.
It was serviceable, but it's not like main event level.
No, but I would say consistent mid card though.
Consistent mid card, but the way I look at all those guys, it's like, yeah, they were the threat, but at the same time, they're all mid carders. There really wasn't anybody in that group that like I sat there and I'm like, well, what about Alex Riley? Alex Riley maybe could have been something, maybe. I also think though that he probably would have just gotten to his own way. It's obvious he did something backstage to piss him off. I don't know, because you hear about him and then you hear about like, whenever I heard David Otunga come out with stuff, I'm like, okay, let's hear why this guy that was on that roster for way longer than he should have been and collected a paycheck for way longer than he should. Let's hear about why John Cena buried him. Oh yeah. Like, honestly, that conversation to me, because of the guys that are always involved and the people that are throwing that stuff around and where they went in the business, that argument now is just like, it's dead and buried to me, because it's like, I really don't think that there was anybody. And I look at the people that were in charge at that point that were making the decisions, signing talent. It wasn't like he was sitting there going to them and being like, oh yeah, you got to sign this. You know, I don't like this guy, get rid of him. I don't think he ever did that. Maybe with Kennedy.
Yeah,
but that was because Kennedy was. But
that's exactly what I was about to say, though. Kennedy.
But Kennedy was stupid.
He was.
Kennedy was dumb.
He was.
So it's like.
But it also wasn't just Cena either.
Yeah, he pissed Randy Orton off too. Yeah, the two biggest guys in the company. It's like, well, you got to do something.
I want to know. One guy. I would be curious to know what he did to Randy, because Randy. It's Randy. Like, it's Randy. Like, that's all I can say.
He dropped him on his shoulder. Like, it was an attack match, and he just came back off of, like, I think he was gone for like almost a year.
Yeah,
and he was just it was something ridiculous. And then it was Kennedy's first match back after a layoff for him too, and he back suplexes Randy and he lands right on his fucking shoulder. And that was right after that they fired Kennedy. So that was. So I look at that and I'm like, all right, like I can't really bitch and say, because he pretty much, that was stupid. Like that was just dumb in how you lost that spot.
Right. And
also too, Kennedy also lost it 2 years earlier, because I remember that Fox News segment. He goes on there. It's right after the Benoit thing.
Yeah.
And he goes out there and he says, I'm not on steroids. And then he pops. Then he gets popped. And then it's just like, you dummy. Because that's the first bullet in the chamber. And then he always got hurt at the wrong time. So it's like, okay, Kennedy's another one I got to take off the list.
Hey, at least he had success in TNA. That's all I can say.
I know. But like, it's just.
I wish they brought him back at some point, but whatever, you know.
Those are always my arguments. Because I was just trying to come up with something, and I was always trying to be a yeah, but guy. And the fact is that, and with the amount of talent that kind of revolve around, you know, it's not like when Hogan left, everybody was just like, thank fucking God. You know, like, at least with Cena leaving, it's almost like a void. Brother. It's almost like a void, like in that locker room now, because it's like an entire generation of talent that's there. They probably got into this thing because of him. And they're going to miss, even though he really hasn't been around much, probably the last decade compared to when he was, you know, compared to 15, 20 years ago. But at the same time, that figurehead that a lot of these kids that were coming up, they all probably got in because of John. And now their hero is gone. And I'm sure that there's a generation of guys that are pissed off because, like, there's some of those guys that are like, I never got a chance to wrestle him and all this stuff. And it's just like, look, you know, and it's unfortunate that he didn't get more kind of matches, kind of more exhibition stuff out there. I wish he kind of went to NXT maybe a little bit and kind of went down there for a little bit and tried to a couple of weeks and work with some of the talent, maybe get the Tuesday ratings up a little bit. Because
I think he did once, but I think it was before his official retirement run had actually kicked off.
I think it was the first time they went up head to head against. That was they had.
Oh yeah, on the Tuesdays. Yeah, I think you're right because Cody was there that time. I think a couple other people.
Taker was there.
Yeah,
It was they threw so much at them because they were going up against AEW for Title Tuesday, and it's funny because it's the same company that spent the last year just trying to counter program AEW, and all the critics are just like, yeah, they actually had a better year than you, like. even with the retirement tour, it's like, yeah, they won in the box office, but as far as critically is concerned, it really wasn't that great. It was really a letdown. Yeah. I don't think the tour was a letdown. I don't think it was an F like Bleacher Report has given it. Bleacher Report gave it an F, and it's like,
I'd give it a D. The D's nuts. I'd give it a D though. Seriously, I'd
give it a C for crap.
Yeah.
People need to remember too that Baron Corbin was Kurt Angle's last opponent in WWE. So
that was a Vince thing, though.
Still Baron Corbin, like that.
Angle wanted Cena.
I know he did, but he got Baron Corbin.
I know.
So it's like you can sit there at least and say, it could have been worse. Could have been worse. They could have they could have still had Richard Holland under contract and given him John Cena. Like,
oh my God.
There were a number of things that they could have done that could have just been completely wasteful. And we're in 5 years. Because I guarantee you that there's a majority, unless you're a deep wrestling fan like I am, there's a majority of the public that has already forgotten that Baron Corbin beat Kurt Angle in his retirement match. There's probably a good portion because that should have been something that people were pointed out at and been like, yeah, it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. And I also don't feel bad for a guy either that got a WrestleMania main event win in his last year in the company against somebody that is supposed to be the new
QB1,
so to speak, John Cena, and he beats John Cena beats Cody Rhodes at Mania thanks to Travis Scott, and pretty much now Cody Rhodes, his legacy gets kind of that little asterisk put in there now because he has to, and it's unfortunate really because his WrestleMania legacy is affected because he had to lose to John Cena in the WrestleMania main event. Yeah, he got his win back at SummerSlam, but it's like still lost to WrestleMania a year after beating Roman Reigns and ending a 3.5-year title reign. Like, didn't even get a defense. Like, one title defense. It's like, nope, you're losing at Mania. And so, again, you're sacrificing long-term for short-term. And I'm sure that they enjoyed the revenue that they got from the ticket sales because of this. I am sure that they enjoy the nice little pocket that they just received from DC for the event. Good Boston.
I forgot about that.
Like they got their money, and Triple H. That's kind of I think why he was laughing while he was getting viscerally attacked by the audience at the end of the show. So he didn't even do a speech. Pretty much, they just showed his video, his little tribute video. He watched it and did his little salute at the end. Thank you. Some asshole wanted him to leave his jorts, which I'm glad that didn't happen. That would have been the weirdest thing ever. Like, he is taking off his jorts and putting them in the ring. Why is he doing this? Why?
Gross. You did kind of go back to something you were saying, though, real quick. You did kind of allude to the Sports Illustrated stuff, too.
I did. 10 out of 14 awards by Sports
Including
Illustrated.
Promotion of the Year.
Including Promotion of the Year were won by All Elite Wrestling. And I agree with Sports Illustrated 100%. 100%. Except maybe the Woman of the Year, because you could have get, but that.
It's
yes,
tough.
honey, you're always yes, honey, you are the Woman of the Year. Sports Illustrated Woman of the Year, Stephanie. But I don't. It's
Cocaine's
tough
a hell
to
of a
argue.
drug.
I don't hate the decision. People think I would. I don't.
How can you? How can you argue it?
No, you can't. You can't argue any of that because. And even somebody had said it that worked for Sports Illustrated when they were considering it. It's just like there were a lot of great talent in all these companies, but the problem is that they may have not been booked properly, and that had to go into some voting, and that's right.
Yes,
that does affect your voting. It's not up to you because you did your job wonderfully, but if the person with the pencil or pen is making the decisions for you, that's affecting. And unfortunately, it's like, it's like you did everything right.
I think Toni Storm should have got Woman of the Year, though. I don't think it should have been Mercedes.
It's hard to, again, it's hard to argue.
I don't think it's hard to argue for Toni Storm against Mercedes Moné.
No, but what I'm saying is that either one of them could have won it, and I would have been okay with it. You can argue both ways. You can it's not like I'm. Do I think would I have been upset if Toni Storm won? No. Am I upset that Mercedes won? No.
Yes.
That's kind of my
yes.
argument. Why? It's just it doesn't matter in the end.
I mean, I guess, but I would just rather.
It doesn't matter. It's like and the fact is that, and also I do like the fact now that she's actually starting to lose some of those belts. So
that is true. That is true. Yep.
I am and look, she did her job well. I mean, she's done her job well. I think for AEW because she's earned that award. Let's face it. I'm not going to argue that. It could have been her or Tony. I almost feel like and there were a lot of WWE women that could have, you could have given it to Io Sky, could have given it to Tiffany,
yeah,
but could have given it to Jade, but
yeah,
it was either Tony or Mercedes as far as consistency,
yeah,
and that's why Mercedes won. Hangman won because he was the most consistent. Which I'm sure there are people out there that would be like, you think Hangman should have been. Hangman would actually be my pick for Wrestler of the Year. If I'm voting today, he might be my Wrestler of the Year.
Really?
Because because I can't think of because again the booking has to go into it. Who else has been booked as well as Hangman Page?
I mean, that's fair if you're just going by the
booking and match quality.
Yeah.
He's had some really damn good matches. Great character work. So, I mean, you can make CM Punk as an argument too, because Punk's got the world championship now. But he's also got some big, big losses at some big, big pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Which kind of hurts his overall year. Cody losing at Mania hurts him. Roman really not having an active year. I mean, mind you, the matches that he's been in has been really good, but also too, it's like I really can't vote for you if it's like the NBA with the game. If you have to play 67 games to kind of get all NBA votes,
right? Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I'm voting it, with Roman. But. And it's kind of like the same thing with Cena too, but Cena to an extent, I'm not going to give him a year Wrestler of the Year award because it's really, half the matches were good, were passable, and then half the others were, and then the main event at Mania was, like it was so bad. It's like giving you a vote, I just feel dirty. So I feel like pretty much that's why I'm voting Hangman Page. I'd have to start looking at NXT, and it's like, do I really want to do that? No.
Well, I don't think NXT is winning any awards when you can't even get a finish right.
No, that's true. So yeah, that was something. That was the PLE schedule for WWE this year. Luckily for us, we get a little break though. We'll get to talk about some fun holiday toys and collectibles this week, and then next week we'll be able to kind of give a year-end special, which we might just have that. What we might do is just play fart sounds for an hour. Because that'll pretty much
that.
be, I think.
We'll play a couple. We'll play this. We'll play this. Hold on. And we'll play this.
It stinks.
That we'll just play 3 clips for an hour, just talking about the year in review in a couple of weeks.
We could play this one too.
Hey, Rock! Go fuck yourself!
Play that.
Yeah, that's going to be the Golden Globe awards when they announce the best male actor. They're going to be like, fuck you and your Oscar bait. You're not getting it.
I mean, we do a few that we could play. I mean, in terms of booking,
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
in terms of some of the match quality this year.
It might. I don't know. It might be 0.
I mean, it's just these are the gifts that keep on giving, I guess. Which is ironic. I say that a couple days before Christmas, but it is the truth.
Did you hear the latest about Nikki Bella might be dating Cooper DeJean?
Yeah, who is like 20 years younger than her. Hey, good for him.
Good for him.
Good
I
for her.
guess.
Whatever. No judgment.
No judgment. I mean, look.
How Nikki got her groove back. I mean, it is what it is, man.
He's gonna be. It's not like I don't like the guy anyways because of the great work that he did at the Super Bowl. So it's like he's almost like a welcome addition into the Patriot to Patriots fandom because it's just like, oh yeah, you picked off Mahomes in the Super Bowl. All right, you're cool. We like you. All right, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
right, cool, it's like you're always welcome to the cookout, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so we're gonna wrap things up here today, folks. But if you don't catch us before our Christmas episode, and before then, because it's gonna be coming out on Christmas around then. So if you're traveling and not able to listen to that episode on at least behalf of myself and my family, I wanted to wish everybody a happy Merry Christmas. And so does Daria. She, so to speak, also wishes everybody a Merry Christmas. Yes. Mac?
In the words of the great Crash Clark, Merry Christmas and Happy Screw Year.
La 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 la. Jets suck. Good night, everybody.